100. 100 of the greatest science fiction movies as spun out to you by me, your boy C, the host of most of the things right here on the Paprika Network, man. We're talking about 100 science fiction movies, 100 to 1, ranked them. One a day for the first 100 days of the year. Man, we're keeping this thing on a rolling. Yesterday's movie. Yesterday was number 62. Excuse me. Yesterday's number 62, we talked about Ghost in the Shell. Don't let that live action Ghost in the Shell fool you. The animated joint, the one that really digs into the philosophy of the whole thing, which is something that was eschewed in the live action movie, I think. The first 20, 30 minutes of the live action Ghost in the Shell is some of the most gorgeous cinematography I've seen in quite some time. And that's all I had going for it. But if you want to get down to the core of what Ghost in the Shell is about, man, you got to check out the 95 anime. It's one of the ones people are like, oh, you haven't seen Ghost in the Shell? So I finally got up on it, and you should too. Today, we're talking about number 61 on this list, man. Tron Legacy. 2010, directed by Joseph Kosinski. One of his first movies, if I remember correctly. Let's check this bad boy out. The game has changed. Sam Flynn, the tech-savvy and daring son of Kevin Flynn, investigates his father's disappearance and is pulled into the grid. With the help of a mysterious program called Cora, Sam quests to stop evil dictator Clue from crossing into the real world. Man, oh man. As far as, there's been a trend in Hollywood over the last couple of years, more with comedies, I think, but just movies getting sequels to the original that was far years prior. Like Dumb and Dumber came a good 15 years after its original one. Some Anchorman had a good 10 years, maybe even longer, from its first one to its second one. And every time they announce one of these long ass sequels, I'm like, yo, are we really doing this? Do we need this? And they were like, we're getting a second Tron. And I was like, all right. And Tron was number 99, 98 or something like that. One of the high 90s on our 100 sci-fi list. I was like, okay, it was a decent movie. It was cute. I don't think we need to revisit that world again. And we're getting Jeff Bridges back and Bruce Boxleitner. All right, fine, whatever. And man, this movie fucking slaps. This movie is the very definition of fun in science fiction. Man, just the visuals. This movie is so pretty. It's so pretty to look at. If you saw this movie, this came out during that 3D craze. Thanks, Avatar. And what the only reason that I will accept this 3D joint is because of how they implemented it. They Wizard of Oz'd us with this movie. Everything, the movie is focused on Sam Flynn, the son of Kevin Flynn, Jeff Bridges' character from the original Tron, and how he, Kevin Flynn's disappeared for decades now, and Sam the kid's now his own grown ass self, and he accidentally gets sucked into the system. Finds out that his pop's there. They have adventures, and then Sam gets out. There you go. There's your synopsis right there. It's all 2D. If you watch this in the movie, we didn't get a chance to watch it. It's all 2D when we're in the beginning of the movie, that first act, when we're getting to be introduced to Sam and his bitterness towards the company that his dad made because his dad just apparently up and abandoned him. And the moment he gets sucked into the grid, that's when it all goes 3D. And that's why I say the Wizard of Oz is kind of like the whole black and white to color transition. And it is just so much fun. Like the some of the technology doesn't work, like the facial de-aging that is now commonplace in some films kind of started here, really, and it does not look good at all. But it's one of those things you can dismiss because it's like, all right, this is one of the earliest attempts at this technology. You know, they kind of tried to use it and play with it so it didn't look too terrible. But sometimes you just watch it face on, you're like, oh, that's not good. But the performances are so much fun. People look like they're having a blast. Jeff Bridges is back in prime form. Olivia Wilde is great. Michael Sheen is on set just fucking swinging for the fences, chewing the scenery, doing his best David Bowie impersonation. There's a lot to love about this movie, man. And 125 minutes, honestly, not enough. We needed a third Tron out of this. Just based directly, give it back in the hands of Joseph Kosinski. It's just so beautiful and so much fun. And, you know, they give us great action scenes. What they took the light cycles, they upped the ante on that with making them all of a sudden like they're airborne now. They can do things airborne. It's just a great movie. And I have not, unless, of course, the Daft Punk soundtrack is a key driving factor for why this movie is just so damn cool. This movie is just flat out cool. It looks cool. The actors in it are cool. The soundtrack is cool. It's almost, I'm not going to say it's almost flawless because there's some flaws in there. there's a couple slow parts in there, here and there. But still, it is definitely worthy of being on this list, man. Number 61, Tron: The Legacy. We'll be back in 24 of the hours, man. Talking more science fiction. What is number 60, man? We're about to leave the 60s before we get into these 50s. What's 60 going to be? Come on back tomorrow. Find out right here on Paprika.